Hello everyone, the time right now is 11 o'clock on Friday the 28th of November 2025. Look, that's a pretty big pimple that has just showed up quite recently. I'm only noticing it just now. Anyways, there has been some massive breaking news from the International Criminal Court that had just happened earlier this day. It occurred at around, around 6:30 Philippine Standard Time. And it was that Duterte, former President Rodrigo Duterte's appeal for interim release from the International Criminal Court has been rejected. That's right. Yep, I am pretty happy about this news. This is my personal opinion, by the way. This opinion of mine does not reflect in any way, shape, or form the opinions of the rest of my family. These are only my opinions, so if you do wish to attack someone, attack me. Anyways, if you don't know about Duterte's arrest, I don't know what to say. This is common knowledge now. But if you don't, let me just give you a bit of a background. So back in late March, former President Rodrigo Duterte was arrested by local police and was then transported to The Hague. Then, about a couple of weeks or maybe even a month later, I don't exactly know the timeline, he then showed up to the court via video call because apparently he was pretty weak. I don't know. This Duterte is pretty opaque. He's not exactly the most transparent former president out there, and I do not trust him in any way, shape, or form. Anyways, he tried to request, or his legal team on his behalf tried to, or actually requested, the ICC to grant Duterte interim release from the International Criminal Court. That was rejected. Then they filed an appeal, which the verdict was just heard just a few hours ago, and apparently there are three grounds that that Duterte's legal team has cited. It was apparently filed on the 14th of October, challenging the pretrial chamber one's decision on the 26th of September that denied his request for interim release from ICC detention. The very first ground was errors in risk assessment. They argued that the pretrial chamber erred in finding that the former president posed a risk under Article 58(1) subparagraph B of the Rome Statute. The pretrial chamber had determined that Duterte's continued detention was necessary to 1. Ensure his appearance at trial, 2. Prevent him from obstructing or endangering the investigation or court proceedings, and 3. Ensure that he does not continue with the commission of crimes. That ground was rejected. It was resoundingly rejected by the appeals chamber. Next, the rejection of state guarantees. The second ground for appeal concerned the pretrial chamber's rejection of state guarantees offered by a state party willing to accept Duterte under interim release conditions. The defense argued that the tribunal erred by not adequately considering these guarantees, which were intended to mitigate any perceived risks associated with his release. According to the appeal, Duterte has agreed to the most restrictive conditions for release ever preferred at the International Criminal Court. Apparently, I would like to dispute that. The defense indicated that an unnamed state party had, and I quote, vigorously affirmed its commitment to the court by expressing its keen desire to receive him under terms and conditions tendered at first instance. That ground was also resoundingly rejected. And finally, the third ground was the failure to consider humanitarian factors. This is the most prominent ground in Duterte's appeal, which is centered on humanitarian considerations related to his age, health, and physical condition. The defense contended that the pretrial chamber overlooked critical humanitarian factors that should have weighed in favor of interim release. So, here are some factors on the third ground. Age and physical condition. It emphasized that Duterte is 80 years old, infirm, and debilitated. His legal team characterized his detention as cruel, given his presumption of innocence, arguing, and I quote, "It is quite simply cruel to detain him while he enjoys the presumption of innocence. A court of law set up to address the crimes of ultimate concern to humanity may also show compassion." Humanity from this legal team. Such hypocrisy. Next, the defense asserted that Duterte suffers from a notably fragile mental and physical health condition. I'm not finishing that. Flight risk concerns, statements from the vice president, witness intimidation, political connections. What is this? The ICC prosecutor opposed Duterte's appeal, arguing that the defense failed to establish any legal or factual error in the decision for his continued detention. The prosecution maintained that the conditions under Article 58(1) subparagraph A and 58(1) subparagraph B, clause 1, 2, 3 of the Rome Statute continued to be met, and that recent events, including his family's statements and activities, exemplified why continued detention remained necessary. Let's see. Oh, here's a statement from Vice President Duterte. She apparently mentioned in public speeches the idea of breaking Mr. Duterte out of the ICC detention center and attempting to delegitimize the court's proceedings against Mr. Duterte, citing collusion between the court and the government of the Philippines, as well as the use of fake witnesses. This apparently happened on the 19th of July this year. That was quite dumb. I'll be pretty honest. I'm only 18. I'm not a wise, mature, or even smart individual. But even I think that idea is pretty stupid. Anyways. What else have I not? Flight risk concerns. Whatever the hell that is. But yeah, that is the news of the day. A news that I am pretty happy about, in my opinion, of course. Not a lot of people agree with me on quite a lot of things, from who we should vote for in elections, to who should we support, to how should we approach Catholicism. I'm not exactly a religious man, but I also don't think that Christianity should be abolished in this nation. It's too ingrained in our society. But yeah, that is the breaking news of this day. I am pretty happy and pretty relieved that former President Duterte was not granted interim release. So we cannot stop winning, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope we never will stop winning. That is it for this video. Apologies for the dark background. Excuse me. I'm drinking milk. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. yeah, right. Bye bye.